and Serbia. See Raonic and Pospisil lead Team Canada into Serbia for a Davis Cup semi-final showdown, September 13th on Sportsnet.
Lib quarterfinals against Newell's Old Boys. Remember that one in the return leg where Boca and Newell's went into pretty much a marathon-like ending from the penalty kick spot. Well, he was the referee in that particular occasion. He was also the fourth referee in the last edition of the Super Clásico. So something to check out there for Boca fans. As we see, Estudiantes only 3 changes as both Franco and Leonardo Jara both injured. See right there, Fernando Gago. Those are 2 substitutions. Also, Juan Sebastián Verón, last minute exclusion, last minute scratch because of a stomach ailment that he was suffering. Boca, pretty much the same 11 that started last week as Carlos Bianchi for a 4th consecutive occasion. Well, he's been able to have the luxury of having them all together yet once again. Slowly you start seeing Boca set up their team, set up the squad. As you see right there, Tripodi, Caruso, Zarate, Herbes, Gago, Cangele, and Emanuel Gigliotti, the man on the bench for Carlos Bianchi. So it's going to be interesting to see. Now, a little bit of a caveat here and there, because of the tactical changes that have been offered due to the exclusion of Juan Sebastián Verón, it's going to be interesting to see how this Estudiantes side reacts. Remember, this squad, both squads as a matter of fact, Estudiantes with 4 players from their youth system, Boca with 5. We'll talk about that a little bit later in the match, but it's going to be interesting as, okay, it's not a full house, but it's a very somber setting, especially when you don't have visiting fans here at the stadium. Of course, a very late start for this match. We're here in the United States, at least on the East Coast, an hour behind Argentina as of right now. Of course, when in a couple of months that will change and it'll be a 2-hour time difference, but we'll worry about that when the time comes. As you see, Diego Ceballos and his crew ready to go. Just a couple of minor adjustments as far as television is concerned, and we will be underway just shortly. So as I mentioned before, Estudiantes currently in 10th place coming into this match with 5 points. Boca a point ahead, but of course looking to continue as this week and probably next week will be separation week for many at the top of the table. So we're underway. Game on here in La Plata. I'm Juan Arango. Thank you very much for joining us here on Gold TV. As Boca, of course, in their traditional blue and gold, and Estudiantes in their alternate all-white, going from left to right. So quickly it's going from one end to the other, from just at least crossing the midfield line, dropping all the way back to Agustín Orión, the native of Ramos Mejía in Buenos Aires, a 32-year-old goalkeeper, knocking that ball all the way to the opposite side, 3/4 of the way down the field. And again, it'll be interesting to see. One of the major strong points of Estudiantes is pretty much their attack from out wide, and it's going to be very interesting to see how the 4-2-3-1 implemented by Mauricio Pellegrino is going to work. And also having Guido Carrillo, he scored last week against Lanús, how he's going to start developing into that position now due to the absence and due to the departure, that is, of one Duvan Zapata. Zapata, of course, ended up signing with Napoli after his failed signing over QPR. But it's very evident that this side, this Estudiantes side, looking to give the youngsters a shot. Orión, deep ball yet again, looking to serve it through. But as I was going to say originally, as you see, Estudiantes now working that wide side a little bit more, seeing how Boca's defense is going to shift. Here's Cata Diaz, he gets moved over and the ball ends up being knocked out of bounds there by Guillermo Burdizo, as one of the youngsters, one of the youth products for Estudiantes, Carlos Auski, starts to weave and bobble his way through the Boca defense. Still a bit suspect, so we'll start seeing how this squad collectively starts to adjust. It'll be very key for Juan Ribair Rodriguez to be holding, as right there, it's Emmanuel Insua. His brother Emiliano at Liverpool at one point. One of 5 Boca youth products, both past and present. Obviously, they're all past, but you kind of get the point of what I'm saying. Again, Estudiantes down the left side. Good cross into the air for Auski. He puts it back into the middle, over everyone's head, just slightly, as Estudiantes looking the more aggressive side early on. Get into the middle. Juan Roman Riquelme out wide to Juan Sanchez Miño. Back into the middle is another player that really needs to start getting it going, and he has been doing it so far. Burrito Martinez a little bit too wide. That run by Burrito, not the most direct path to the ball, as the give and go with Juan Roman Riquelme not working out, and it'll be a corner kick for Boca. Again, look at what's going on here with Auski making those runs. He's going to be vital to be able to open up that defense and start taking advantage of the spaces that start getting generated because of that aperture, and start looking at what options are going to be available. Jeronimo Rulli. As we're just getting started, ladies and gentlemen, just sit back, relax, and enjoy as we're getting close to the end of round 4 here in Argentina. Israel Damonte. Of course, how can you not notice him with his platinum hair? The former Nacional. Also, Godoy Cruz and Tiburones Rojos over in Mexico. It's currently his old team, Veracruz, in the top spots in the Liga MX. As far as how they got up there, don't ask me. Again, another chance. Auski. Well, he's going to be vital there. And Guido Carrillo waiting, but the ball never got to him. And one of the things that many were going to worry about with the exclusion of Juan Sebastián Verón is that balance that the team's going to have offensively. He was the one that was going to be pulling the strings. That looked like a bad throw-in, but the referee didn't catch it, as Boca clearing the ball out. Damonte out wide, but no one there. Boca again looking to control, but the pressure being applied by that Estudiantes midfield really interesting. A team that's pretty much with a 4-2-3-1, but it's the 3 in that top of the midfield that are causing all the pressure and the problems for Boca right now. It's Jonathan Silva. Moving it back around into the middle. Santiago Vergini. Back into the middle. Damonte. Damonte, one of the late additions to this Estudiantes side during the transfer market. Of course, he was one of the discards by, and you see right there, Joaquin Correa. He's got to watch out, as he and Ribair Rodriguez are going to be going at it all night long in that middle. Burrito Martinez opening things up into the middle as Ledesma shoots out wide. Leandro Marin giving some support as he does the overlap. Sanchez Miño finding Marin. Back to Ledesma. No space is being given by Estudiantes. The pressure being implemented. And Ribair just knocking it out for a throw-in. Last gasp effort there for the Uruguayan, former Belgrano man. And it was interesting to hear Mauricio Pellegrino during the week talking about how his team is doing. He wasn't too pleased as Sanchez Miño losing the ball there to Damonte. Continuing to press forward here with Joaquin Correa switching over, always taking it to the as far as they can, both he and Auski down that touchline. Another chance, another shot, gets deflected en route from, as Guido Carrillo found himself on the wrong end of that ball. Playing it back all the way to Jeronimo Rulli. A bit too tight on the line. Boca trying to put it back in play quickly, but it's taking way too much time. Ribair Rodriguez in the middle as he's being pressured again by Correa. Another bout in that little battle going on the pitch. Estudiantes doing a great job. Boca a bit confused right now, especially with the pressure, lacking the spaces and lacking the speed to try and overcome the pressure in that midsection. Here's Matias Aguirre Garay, the Uruguayan international, as he was called up by Oscar Washington Tavares, ironically former Boca Juniors coach, for the crucial World Cup qualifying matches. See the foul right there, as it was again Leandro de Sabato. Free kick opportunity here for El Pincharrata. Watch out with Correa. Watch out with, of course, Guido Carrillo. Good opportunity coming up. Let's see what happened in the set piece. Quickly extinguished, but still Boca not pressing out. As again, it's Joaquin Correa, 19-year-old player to watch out for, because he does have the skill set to be able to make a difference in the long term for Estudiantes. Good move out wide, taking a shot. Easy pickings there for Agustin Orion. Of course, Pellegrino was talking about, yes, the team starting to gain an identity, has a chance to shot over and hitting a camera right over the goal. But a good opportunity here for Estudiantes to get a true litmus test as to what they've been able to do. Of course, last week playing against Lanús, a team that's really struggled during this semester early on, and have pretty much put their mindset, at least that's how it looks like as of right now, in the Copa Sudamericana, as they have a return leg match against Racing. Well, they drew 1-1. Here's another chance, another shot, as Orion keeps it in bounds. Auski, whose brother Diego was part of the youth system in Estudiantes. Another young player that came out of this system. He's being looked at. One player that's being looked at as well very highly was former Argentine under 17. Well, he'll be part of the Argentine team in the under 17 World Cup. And Ridwan Palermo, of course, Martin Palermo's son. Nico Blandi getting around as he and Jonathan Silva going at it. Finally, it's the youngster getting the best of the other youth product, or Boca youth product there, Blandi, 22 years old. Boca again generating the first corner kick of the match. Again, look at Cata Diaz. Watch out with him in these set pieces. Very crucial and interesting to see. And we'll talk about Cata in just a little bit, how he's been able to fit in so quickly in his return to Boca. Riquelme. Ball coming into the area. Cata Diaz right there, but it gets cleared out. A man is down. Looks like it's Nico Blandi. Again, Auski, as Ribair Rodriguez was dropping back, and right there was none other than Emmanuel Insua. Estudiantes shot from outside, but looks like it was misdirected en route to goal. And right there, you see Jorge Luna, former San Martin San Juan man. Let's play there by Burrito Martinez. And it's good to see Burrito doing so well, at least early on. You're starting to see the Burrito Martinez of old, the one that we used to see over at Vélez Sarsfield. Again, still early, but he's starting to mold into that type of player that we saw. Riquelme to Insua. Back into the middle. Here's Riquelme looking for Juan Sanchez Miño. Back to Riquelme. Lots of room being given by Estudiantes as it's now Burrito Martinez trying to break out. Good job there by Matias Aguirre Garay. Cata Diaz. Actually, check that. It's Ribair Rodriguez losing the ball, but it's one right back as it's Pablo Ledesma. Ribair Martinez. We're already into the first 13 minutes of this match. And we're still scoreless here at the Estadio Único in the city of La Plata. A cold night here in the capital of the province of Buenos Aires. Expected to dip into the mid to lower 40s tonight. And we're in the final weeks of the South American winter solstice. Moving around hither and thither. It's Gaston Gil Romero finally getting a chance to be on the first team on a consistent basis, so much so that they've changed his number from 25 to 5. It's always a good sign for a young kid when the numbers start getting lower and lower. Estudiantes looking to settle the ball. Aguirre Garay, El Basquito. And going over in Porto Alegre, in Brazil. Always changing his look, does he? Because a couple of months ago when he was at Peñarol, had a fro, then shaved it off, and now growing it back. But Aguirre Garay, always an explosive, very intense, aggressive player, sometimes for better, sometimes for worse. Riquelme. Insua to Burrito Martinez, who dribbles right through. A lot of space, but Boca not able to handle it as the defense started collapsing upon this attack. Cata Diaz with a lot of elegance, bringing it back, the former Atletico Madrid man. Leandro Marin. So everybody knowing where Boca is going to place the ball. Auski to Guido Carrillo. Has to look back because he has no support in front of him. Did have a run outside. Here's a good chance for Estudiantes. The angle's getting tight. Oh, tough break there. As you see right there again, Jorge Luna, who's starting to switch over with Auski. And Luna could not get a good pass into the middle. Of course, nobody was really coming in square to take a good shot at it, but Ribair didn't want to take any chances, and he decided to knock that ball out. First corner kick of the match. Watch out with that guy right there, Guido Carrillo. He could end up, especially with the balls going first post, very dangerous, Guido Carrillo. Of course, right there, he's being marked as dangerous. See, that ball goes right in front of the goal mouth and sailing past the far post. Of course, Estudiantes, historically, always an expert with that first post type of header. Of course, that play was invented at this club. Of course, that play started being developed under one Osvaldo Juan Zubeldia back in the 60s and 70s, as he was the one that originated that header into the first post. Riquelme not being able to get the ball. Here's the counterattack, going deep, going wide, but maybe a little bit too wide for Guido Carrillo. A little bit disorganized, especially with the advantage that Estudiantes do have. They do have, on counterattack situations, very fast players where they can break out. Just right now, mentally, they're about 2 steps too quick on those counters, but Boca looking to answer back. As it's Sanchez Miño recovering the ball, bringing it down into the middle, and it's taken away there in the end by none other than Leandro de Sabato. as Santiago Vergini ends up being broken down on that play. Insua. Sanchez Miño was in an offside position. Insua wins it back. Insua continued to battle. Now at the same time as Sanchez Miño, Ribair, the tank that he is, ends up committing the foul. And it ends up being Estudiantes ball in the first 18 minutes of this match. You see Burrito right there trying to win it, but maybe coming in a little bit too rough, and maybe a handball here and there and everywhere. Take your pick as far as what infraction he committed. As Diego Ceballos, we mentioned before, the referee for this match. Ezequiel Brailovsky as well. He is his number one assistant. Of course, on the other end of the pitch, the second assistant, Diego Romero. And finally, fourth assistant, none other than Hector Mastrangelo, the refereeing crew in this match. Right there, it's Santiago Vergini, or Vergini, depending on who says it. Marin. Nico Blandi really unable to get into the match. Aguirre Garay. Uruguayan looking to split through. El Basquito is trying to ram his way through, and the ball now on the feet of Juan Roman Riquelme. Sanchez Miño just right there. And one of the big people that at least got a lot of publicity this week, especially in the Boca camp, was none other than the trainer, the fitness coach for Boca, Juan Manuel Alfano. When they started asking, of course, there was lots of speculation as to how ready was Fernando Gago. Of course, he's been recovering from an injury that has really limited his preseason and also his participation with the first team, so much so that he has not been able to play yet. And earlier in the week he said, well, it doesn't look good. But as the week progressed, Gago's injury was able to improve a little bit more. And of course today he ends up being on the bench for Boca Juniors. That'll be interesting to see when Gago starts to get more minutes, how this team starts to change a little bit more, and more importantly, who's going to be the player that's sacrificed for Fernando Gago, which it looks at like right now it's going to be none other than Juan Sanchez Miño. Mauricio Pellegrino alongside his assistants, right? The one with the headphones right there, that's Carlos Compagnucci, and you see right there Carlos Bianchi. Of course, you don't see Jose Maria Castro, his right-hand man, or Marcelo Herrera. Free kick opportunity coming up for Boca is Burrito Martinez, being very active so far, extremely active, as Aguirre Garay not shy to be able to establish his physicality against anyone at any time. Of course, Jerónimo Rulli not taking any chances right now. Rulli, of course, saying, man, if Riquelme is around, I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to set up the wall well. He might take a shot from there, but he doesn't. He goes short. Riquelme there with Sanchez Miño. The cross into the middle. Rejected there in the end by Jonathan Silva. Ribair Rodriguez putting it, or attempting to put it back into the middle. Blandi winning the air battle, but losing the possession one of that is Paulo Ledesma. Could be another one that ends up being sacrificed in favor of Gago. Riquelme. Ribair as Sanchez Miño getting lots of room. The shot from outside. Close, but not really close enough to stress Gaston Rulli. 23 minutes in, and all of a sudden, from an offensive standpoint, you start seeing the scales get balanced a little bit more. Right now, how old do you think Gaston Rulli is? I mean, look at his face. I mean, Jerónimo Rulli. Well, he's one of the 4 youth products on the pitch for Estudiantes, just 20 years old, and he's been able to overtake none other than goalkeeper Agustin Silva for the starting job, at least for now. A shot! Looking for a handball. No. At least that's what the referee's saying. I'm not saying that because it looked mighty close there as Emmanuel Insua stuck out his leg and his arm. So at this point, I have no opinion. I wouldn't be surprised if it was a handball, though. Corner kick coming up, the second one for Estudiantes. Gini in the area. Guido Carrillo, Damonte, you name it. They're all there looking to crash the first post again. Ball into the middle, but it's taken out there by Nico Blandi. Luna. Insua crashing in, taking that ball away, and now it's Estudiantes' turn to start pummeling Orion's goal. Let's see, did it roll up or did it go? Not exactly sure. It was, I mean, it did hit his hand, but it looked like it rolled up off his leg and into his arm. That could have been what Diego Ceballos saw, but if he would have called a penalty, there would be no qualms about it. I would understand definitely as a foul called here. Damonte going to the deck. Circling around is Riquelme, just showing off right there, and foul being called. And many starting to see Riquelme turning 35. But of course you wouldn't say that his play is deteriorated because he never really had blazing speed to begin with. So those types of players you don't notice because mentally Riquelme is as sharp as ever. At times you have to question his motivation and how bad has he wanted certain things, and that's been one of the big criticisms for Juan Román Riquelme so far. Here's a good chance into the middle. A good chance for Estudiantes! What a way to develop that play. Jorge Luna just going wide of target. Give lots of credit to Matias Aguirre Garay. Look at the movement that he has. Look at the way that he feeds that ball into the middle, opening space for himself. Squared just a little bit wide, trying to aim to that second post as Luna with a first-time opportunity. Right there, best opportunity of the first half so far by either side. And Estudiantes starting to feel it yet again. But it was again Aguirre Garay's play, recovering, and also more importantly, being able to find that space in the middle to just serve it in to the oncoming Luna to be able to create these types of situations. Speaking of which, Luna right there again. Good run. And again, this time, Catadilla sliding in. And Boca in the back, a little bit more physical than in previous editions. As you see right there, the youngster Jonathan Silva, who's done a great job so far on that far side. I'm not saying that the previous editions of Boca's defense haven't been physical, they've just been a little bit more reckless. Case in point, Matias Caruso, who was on the reserve side today for Boca. And not a very happy camper at the beginning of that match. I'll tell you why in just a little bit. It's Insua dropping it back to Riquelme. Burdizo, as he has the ball bang off of none other than Carlos Sauski. So, as I was mentioning, Matias Caruso was part of the reserve side today for Boca. And, of course, one of the things that bothered him was, of course, his trajectory with Boca the past couple of seasons. He expected to be the captain in today's reserve match. Not the case. And he was quite upset that one of the Boca youth players ended up getting the captain's armband. There was a similar situation for River, and we'll talk about that in just a second, as Boca starting to build something up here in the middle. Ledesma. Having a drop back, slips a little bit, but no problem. Juan Sanchez Miño. Ribair Rodriguez putting it through and looking for Ledesma, who switches over to the near side. And as I was mentioning, a similar situation to what happened to Matias Caruso happened to Martin Aguirre today in River's reserve match. A 1-0 loss to Colón's side as well. Well, Martin Aguirre was on that reserve side, and Gaston Vega was the one that ended up getting the captain's armband. So two veterans that weren't too happy with their current situations at their respective clubs. 29 minutes in here at the Estadio Único. Matias Aguirre Garay. Give and go as the Uruguayan finding some space, finding a chance. The cross being smothered right there by Pablo Ledesma. Checked by Burdizo. There's Ledesma right there. Trying to triangulate their way up the pitch. Ribair Rodriguez with Sanchez Miño, back to Ribair. Open is Leandro Marin, that's where he goes. Going to see where the overlap's going to occur, but nothing happens there. Ball going back to Ribair Rodriguez. Trickles through in the direction of Leandro Marin. Moving it up slowly but gradually, Boca. Ledesma, nobody tells him that a man's behind him. Zowski commits the foul. Right there. You want to know how cold it is? Well, just look at them. The fans sound so distant. It's probably because they are. No visiting fans in Argentine football all this season. Good chance here for Boca. Riquelme. Top of the area, nobody there. Maybe a little bit too much pace or not enough movement there up top. Could have been offside too. At least it seemed that way. Two Boca players looked a little bit ahead of the pace anyway. Jerónimo Rulli. Out of bounds, there's Ledesma trying to keep it in, but did not work. Of course, the round started on Friday, and some interesting storylines developed throughout, as it's, again, Jonathan Silva. Estudiantes showing some aggression. Really interesting to see that, as a good run being made by Silva right there, but anticipated nicely. Little Boca, much better. And when I say much better, it's not a whole lot that you needed to do to improve from last season. They were the team with the most goals conceded. Riquelme Sanchez Miño. Nobody running. Nico Blandi doing that now. All alone into the middle. Here's a good chance. Burrito! Oh, right off the defense. And unfortunately, he tried passing it back, but passes it right back to Jeronimo Rulli. Great opportunity for Boca there. Just look at how things start developing. And also give lots of props. Look at how Burrito Martinez, instead of running to goal, sees that Blandi's running. He says, you know what, I'm going to be in his way. Instead of running, he just ends up drifting out wide. The ball comes to him. And of course, you see all that occurring. But great presence by Burrito inside the area, because that would not have generated had both of them ended up making the run onto goal. So it's very interesting to see what this Boca team's been able to do so far, and do especially on that attack. "34 minutes in, and we're still scoreless here." Of course, not for lack of trying, because both teams have had their respective opportunities and they've been very proactive looking for chances. But also what's been interesting too is how they've been able to close spaces so quickly. The team right now that's able to take advantage of the space that's been given to them the quickest, or react to it the quickest, will be the one that makes the difference. Deep ball. Cata Diaz looking for Agustin Orion. And that's one of the things that is missing with the Estudiantes side today. Those deep balls, that's usually going to be what Juan Sebastián Verón is going to do. And one of the matchups, one of the things that Carlos Bianchi prepared for during the week was exactly that. As Pellegrino talking there with the fourth referee, as well as mentioned Carlos Compañucci and Xavier Tamarit. Of course, that was the reason why. Estudiantes again looking, but the throw in, lacking. Damonte being very aggressive in the middle as Riquelme and Ledesma giving way to Leandro Marin. Quick foul and quick setup as Ledesma on the ground, but Riquelme thinking, and a good matchup here you have with, you also have a good chance with Juan Sanchez Miño as Insua, who scored last week, the shot, the chance. Another opportunity for Boca. Sanchez Miño trying to curl it, but it gets deflected en route to goal. Looking for the breakout. Estudiantes, but he was coming off an onside position. Easy call there for the line judge. Good chance here again. Of course, the deflection did a great deal as Ledesma. Sanchez Miño with another chance. Last week, when Boca played Rafaela, a very similar scenario, a very similar angle that Sanchez Miño took on that particular shot, and of course we're still scoreless after 36 minutes. It's been interesting so far, and a very, and I'm talking about very slight advantage to Boca so far in this first half. But again, it's the team that takes advantage of the spaces and the compensations that are done by the defenses. The ones that take advantage of those is probably going to end up being on top. So that might be probably my obvious statement of the day. Because on that play, notice how the defense had leaned over towards that end. Of course, that Juan Sanchez Miño. Rulli, another complication. The defense getting a little too cute. Here's Juan Roman Riquelme. Riquelme with a good angle. He's going to take a shot. Rulli, as it goes right to him. Mauricio Pellegrino must be steaming on that bench as to why this ball ends up going on target. Should have never happened in the first place, but Estudiantes got a little too cute trying to play the ball out of their own back. Boca again, no foul. Sanchez Miño stays on his feet. Sanchez Miño driving through. Sanchez Miño losing the ball, and now Estudiantes in the middle with none other than Gaston Gil, who opens it out wide to the left. Continuing, Estudiantes looking to press forward, but not enough numbers to be able to cause any problems with Boca. And really, they've tended to funnel out or funnel in as they get closer to goal. Initially, it was the opposite. They were going down the touchline, being able to find lots of spaces, but the mistake again. Riquelme, Blandi, Sanchez Miño waiting. Who's going to move for him? Sanchez Miño back into the middle. Blandi offside. No. Referee says play on. Flag was still down. Burrito Martinez going out wide to Ledesma. A little bit too far for him. He's able to get to it. Drop it back to Ledesma. Trying to get past Jonathan Silva. Ledesma still coming through, the former Catania man. Back to Ribair Rodriguez. Leandro Marin looking to take it down the line. Now there's an offside. But as I was saying, early on you started to see Estudiantes get the ball and take it down the line to open up the Boca defense. And that was starting to work. As things started progressing, they lost that aspect and they started to lose the spaces that they were able to generate early on. That helped Boca be able to pinch in more, close the spaces down, and not offer as many chances as before. Let's see what happens, and let's see if that adjustment's made. Is another defensive mistake offside? No, it's still onside. Boca with a little bit of incompensation there as far as defense is concerned, but Leandro Marin able to fight that ball away. It'll be Boca and the throw-in. Everybody stopped, everybody not playing the whistle, and Estudiantes then able to take advantage of that particular opportunity. Final 5 minutes, what has been a pretty good first half. Between two sides looking to get to the top spots or remain in contention for the title. I know it sounds weird, but it's week 4. But then say that to Independiente and Racing fans, especially Racing, talk about first division, as both Racing and Independiente getting their coaches or sacking their coaches on the same day. Talk about that in just a minute as we see Ribair Rodriguez. Not sure why he didn't get a yellow card as far as dissent was concerned, but a good chance here for Estudiantes. Oof. Ribair, Boca's battering ram in the middle. Luna. Jorge Luna in the final 4 minutes. Trying to put it through, and it goes over. See Leandro de Sabato coming through. Former Quilmes man. Again, don't know what Ribair Rodriguez was doing, as he stopped looking for the offside, but no, that wasn't the case. Damonte, final 3 minutes of this first half. Chested back by Guido Carrillo. Matias Aguirre Garay. Good practice there on rolling my R's. uncompromising ball there, but Agustin Orion off his line just in the nick of time as it was Carlos Auski coming through. Boca on the attack again. Lots of room, and you see Boca dribbling quite a bit, especially when they get to that sector. How much space they're getting, especially to transport the ball into Estudiantes' defensive third. That's something that needs to be addressed rather quick, because that was not the case in the early stages of the match. Starting to see a lot of players drift back, maybe a little bit too much. Or Boca taking advantage of the spaces that are being given, and even more so, Estudiantes have to worry about that particular aspect of the game. Offside? Foul being called there. Things getting a little sloppy here in the end. All being played out pretty quick. Knocked back in as we're heading into the final minute before stoppage time. Sanchez Miño been very active. One player that hasn't is Nicolás Blandi. That's preoccupying for Carlos Bianchi. Everything has been going exclusively down this right sector. Leandro Marin with a more dangerous opportunity, should I say. Riquelme trying to triangulate the ball with Ledesma over to Marin. Ribair in full chase. Getting past it is Auski. Cata Diaz putting out that fire. Insua. Sanchez Miño. It through. Here's Burrito Martinez. Burrito leaving it into the middle. Sanchez Miño back out wide to Insua, who's started to look like a very capable replacement. It's going to be a yellow card first of the match, and it's El Basquito Aguirre Garay getting into the referee's book. First yellow card of the match. You see right here the ball way just a skosh late on that particular play. And Insua down. As I mentioned before, the substitutes just in case for Boca. Emmanuel Tripodi, the backup goalkeeper. Matias Caruso. And I don't think he'll need to. And it'll be considered depending on how severe Insua's injury was, if it was. Because in the meantime, we're going to head to halftime as the referee blows the whistle. We're going to take a break. Hope you guys can too, and we'll be back with the best of the first half here as Boca. And it'll be interesting to see how the adjustments are made during the second half. Diego Ceballos just making some final adjustments here. And we're underway, game on here in La Plata, as both teams with the starting 22. Just to give you a quick reset if you're just tuning in, Estudiantes playing a 4-2-3-1 with Jerónimo Rulli in goal, Aguirre Garay, Vergini, De Sabato, and Silva in the back. Damonte and Correa playing in the middle with Gaston Gil, Carlos Auski, and Jorge Luna. It'll be Auski, Luna and Auski in the middle, although they both have been switching back and forth time and time again. Offside. Or would it be an offside? I don't know about that. See what was called there. Not sure. And of course, up top, just to finish the starting 11, Guido Carrillo. Calling the offside prior to the touch there by Ribair Rodriguez. Now Boca looking to answer back. Into the middle it goes to Burrito Martinez, and it'll be a corner kick first of the first half, should I say. Boca with Agustin Orion in goal, Leandro Marin, Diaz, Burdizo, and Insua. Ledesma, Rodriguez, and Sanchez Miño with Juan Roman Riquelme in front of them. Burrito Martinez and Nico Blandi up top for Carlos Bianchi's man. Speaking of Nicolas Blandi, right there. Going first post, and it's cleared away by Carlos Auski. Riquelme looking to go for broke on that goal, looking to go Olímpico at least. Another ball being served in, but it was recovered by Gaston Gil. Gaston Gil Romero, another youth product for Estudiantes, 20 years old. Cata Diaz clearing that ball out the wrong way, but it's Leandro Marin recovering it rather nicely. Again, look at where Estudiantes players are right there, just looking to open themselves up, as it's Leandro de Sabato knocking it through, looking up for Guido Carrillo. Now it's Auski! Goes wide of target right there. You see right there the conversations going on between Emmanuel Insua, of course, the most controversial play right there, and Diego Ceballos might get some grief over that from the press. We'll see how that ends up playing out in this match. Ledesma as he goes down. As you see right there, of course, a foul was on Jorge Luna. Ledesma still a bit fragile from the injuries that he suffered, so he knows he's got to be aware of that, as does Carlos Bianchi. One of the names that also gets into the mix is that of Christian Herbes. Will he be also getting into the mix, although Bianchi has had him, well, has accounted for him only on the bench. Here's Burrito Martinez looking to go through. Riquelme looking to recover. He just pokes it back to Emmanuel Insua. Continuing down that side, but again, Boca with the ball. Stumbling and fumbling their way into Estudiantes' final third. Here's a good chance from outside. It gets deflected. Boca still looking to press on. Riquelme. Marin. Ledesma as he goes down. No foul will be called, and now Estudiantes looking to break out. And that's been one of the things that they have not been able to do. And now it's Jorge Luna looking to serve it through. Ledesma tracking back and able to deflect the ball. Here's Boca again. Marin into the middle. You see Marin right there on the near side. Blandi as he gets shoved off by Leandro de Sabato. I'm sure he was trying to push him away. It was more momentum forcing him to do that. As I mentioned, another player, Christian Herbes, that's looking to get into the mix with the starting 11. Will it kick this Boca offense into another gear? We'll see what happens. Ribair Rodriguez, Burrito Martinez as he interacts there, but not much going on. Burdizo. One again there, but again the physicality of Cata Diaz. And Ribair Rodriguez coming through. It'll be Boca's ball. Although it looked to me that Ribair's foot was on the bottom, and it's the one that made contact. Guido Carrillo not agreeing and saying it's Boca's ball again. Again, it's the Uruguayan. Manuel Insua. Riquelme. Pops right out, and it's going to be Israel Damonte who gets tugged back. It'll be advantage for Estudiantes looking to break out. And again, they're having trouble breaking out quickly and using the speed that they have up top to their advantage. It's kind of been a detriment, the counterattack for them. You see Aguirre Garay cutting back into the middle. He gets the ball. Damonte. Luna gets cracked, and it'll be Estudiantes' ball at this point. See right there, Ledesma coming in. A little bit of retribution from that previous foul, I guess. Luna looking to see where he can put that ball right over the defense's back. A little bit too much air under it. It is won by Ribair Rodriguez, and eventually the foul gets called. Agustin Orion. His temperature's going down even more. Latest weather report was saying that 41 degrees by the end of the night. Jorge Luna. Israel Damonte. Looking at hit that ball there for none other than Carlosowski. Trying to make one too many there in the middle was the youngster Joaquin Correa, but again, Estudiantes winning the ball. Same thing, kind of a mirror image of the early stage of the first half. And Ledesma, referee says, I'm fed up, and first yellow card of the match for Boca, second overall. As the ref said, hey look, I've warned you once, I've warned your teammates twice. That's pretty much it. Good chance here. Is Luna trying to just see who and how they were being marked. Again, inside, right near the penalty marker spot. The shot by none other than Guido Carrillo! 1-0 Estudiantes. What a play, what a shot, what a goal. 1-0 Estudiantes. Sensational set of circumstances there for Estudiantes. They worked hard, they executed this very well, and when you execute, sometimes good luck comes your way. Guido Carrillo from outside, he ends up finding the rebound, and one of the most promising players in Argentine football, showing exactly why he is that. Guido Carrillo with his second goal of the season, and Estudiantes looking closer and closer to going to the top. 1-0. Right there as the youngster doing the best he can, especially after the departure of Duvan Zapata, the 22-year-old, has really stepped up in a big way and showing his team, his coaches, and the rest of the league that this team is no joke. 2 goals in 4 matches for Guido Carrillo. And Estudiantes, again, the team that takes advantage of the spaces that they're given. They were the ones that were going to take advantage of it and take the lead and maybe take the win. Still a long way from finding that part out, but still, Guido Carrillo showing his quality, showing his class on that tremendous volley. Momentum there for Estudiantes. Carrillo again as Burdizo clearing that ball away. Let's see how Boca react to this particular play. Cata Diaz, as we're already in the 57th minute of play. And Guido Carrillo's second goal of the season, the difference maker so far. See how the Xeneize will react, and not much going on there as you start to see the defense again. Estudiantes again closing in, reducing spaces. That's been their secret to success so far this season. The ball into the area. Ball getting cleared. Here's a good chance. Left-footed shot. Ooh. Ended up trying to take one extra pass and put too much air under it to boot. Boca now. Riquelme. Crossed into the middle and go out of bounds for the corner kick. Riquelme setting up. Actually, check that from the outside of Sanchez Miño. He's got so accustomed to Riquelme taking those corner kicks. A good chance here for Boca. Waited way too long. Another chance. Ledesma. Ooh, got hit, smacked right in the face. Play continues. Riquelme wanders around looking for the space, looking for the player to make the run. Again into the middle. Not much, and it'll be a drop ball. Check that was Burdizo. He just got cranked in the face. See right there. Head to head right there. And Diego Ceballos had to stop play. Burdizo still down. Hopefully it's not too serious. It's Joaquin Correa gets the yellow card. Not sure how on purpose that was, but obviously it was the former All Boys defender that ends up getting the worst part of it. And he's still looking very groggy. Could be a chance for Matias Caruso to come on. I don't know if you're a Boca fan, you must be quaking in your boots right now. So now, what is going to happen here? Diego Ceballos stopped play, then gave a yellow card, but the foul that occurred a while longer, unless he gave advantage, then that's a different story. But I didn't see that happen, as Burdizo right there being treated. And it ends up being a drop ball. If you give a yellow card and then call for a drop ball, well, why didn't you call the foul in the first place? Unless that is that Joaquin Correa ended up getting a yellow card for dissent, but I'm not sure that was the case. But Estudiantes showing that they're back in the saddle again. And Boca looking to win their second consecutive road match. Remember that controversial win against Belgrano in Cordoba. For them it was a big win because it was a historically difficult venue for them, playing over at, well, the now Estadio Mario Kempes. We'll see how Boca fare in this sequence right here as they currently find themselves a man down. Manuel Insua going up against Matias Aguirre Garay. And it's the Uruguayan winning. He stumbles. It'll be a corner kick yet again. Another chance for Juan Sanchez Miño. Still Burdizo getting treatment. He did get a gash right near his eyebrow. Right on the side of his head near the parietal area. So that's always a place, whether you get hit hard or not, that sector right there tends to open up quite a bit. Tends to open up with the greatest of ease. As Burdizo comes in all bandaged up. Here's Riquelme now. Going first post again, looking to go through. Ball bouncing around, still at the top of the six. Finally cleared up by Israel Damonte. Recovered by Riquelme. Drops it back. Great move there by Juan Sanchez Miño, looking for Riquelme, who's on the wing. Riquelme against Aguirre Garay, breaking him down. Left-footed cross that goes over everyone's head. And Burdizo will have to drop back, and it'll be a throw-in for Estudiantes de La Plata. Again, you see that great play by Guido Carrillo. He's at the right place at the right time. Great goal scorer's instinct. And that's how Estudiantes took the lead. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I agree with you. Good chance here for Boca as another foul being called. Ledesma. Scatadilla is looking to crash the post, or at least just crash into the area. Looking for a reference point. Goes over everyone's head. Finally Aguirre Garay knocking it out, going to Correa. Breakout coming up, it's Auski. Got some space, has some room, doesn't have the numbers though. But it's Guido Carrillo, good pass to Carrillo, wide open, here's Jorge Luna. Instead, right there, and you see right there, Jorge Luna raising his arm, saying, Guido, dude, I'm right here. Typical acute goal scorer's tunnel vision there for Guido Carrillo. Huge chance to make it 2-0. And again, that's what makes Estudiantes so dangerous. When they have the spaces to break out, they can really hurt you. And as I was mentioning before, they did not have the numbers in their favor, but still that doesn't bother them at all. Another free kick as we're going into the final 25 minutes of this match. Estudiantes still with a 1-0 lead. Just trying to sneak out from under that bandaging. Little short free kick, looking to reset into the area. No, nobody's going to get that penalty called. As Boca dropping all the way back. Riquelme essentially playing as a central defender in that particular play, technically speaking. Burdizo. Burdizo again to Riquelme. Boca completely have no shape right now as Riquelme goes down, and a free kick will be given to Boca yet again. Well, that was a perfect time for Estudiantes if they were able to get the ball to break, because you had Burdizo pretty much playing as a number 10. There was no shape to Boca at that point. You had anywhere there was, you had some open space, there was a player that was completely out of position. And Israel Damonte getting a yellow card. And the 31-year-old from Salto getting into the referee's book. So that's number 3 for Estudiantes, number 4 overall. I want to see how Estudiantes react, because you see them overloading that side. You do have a player on this near side. As soon as you change angles, you're going to see that there's a player on this near side for Boca. If I'm not mistaken, it's Leandro Marin. He could go there, and he has all types of room to be able to roam. But then again, you have Riquelme, he always has a chance right there. You see Marin on the bottom of your screen. At least he's being respected. Riquelme into the area. Again, every time that Estudiantes clear the ball, there's always a Boca player in the neighborhood. Ledesma not able to control it, a little bit quicker with his body than with his brain right there in that particular play. Not able to control it fully. Had a good chance for a shot if they did. Sanchez Miño just moving around, trying to stab it through. Right there into the middle it goes, but Insua having to move it around. Boca in tight spaces doing a great job. But again, the ball goes out of bounds. And Burrito Martinez. No, not in my book. Not in my book, it's a penalty. Although many are going to question Diego Ceballos' performance, and just on a couple of plays here and there. Gata Diaz as we get already into the 68th minute of play. Ball served right back inside, but giving it right back to Estudiantes. Santiago Bergini. Ribair Rodriguez as Guillermo Burdizo. Wonder when Carlos Bianchi is going to decide to make a substitution. A little bit more offensive punch. Riquelme, Burdizo, Insua, Ribair Rodriguez switching sides but making an error, and then finally in the other end it's Jonathan Silva making an error as well, giving the Boca boys a chance to be able to continue with possession. Ribair Rodriguez trying to filter it through. Good play here. Play that I have not seen at all. It's Pablo Ledesma, but the play in De Sabato, a little bit too much protesting on his end. You see right there, he came from behind. What else does he want? He could have had an argument for a yellow card there. Estudiantes with Agustin Silva, the backup goalkeeper. Jonathan Schunke, Ernesto Goñi, Mariano Gonzalez, Román Martínez, Patricio Rodríguez, and Diego Mendoza on the bench. As again, Boca using the same formula. Riquelme from outside, missing, not hitting it quite well, and I think Estudiantes saying, okay, well, if you want to do that, we'll take it. Looking more like a South African Springbok Mall past couple of weeks, as the Springboks came to Mendoza and defeated Argentina in the Rugby Championship just 24 hours ago. Although it was a more suffered result compared to the 73-13 beating they gave Los Pumas just about a week ago. That's how that free kick looked. Carlos Bianchi there watching, worried what options can he conjure up as he turned on his cell phone to God. Well, we'll find out in the coming minutes, because his team really have not been able to find the goal defended by Jeronimo Rulli in the second half. Although they've been able to get inside the area, the shots have not come and have not been able to go in their favor. Well, look at that run. Boca now with a chance. Not the numbers, but the opportunity, and the cross into the middle. Great save by Rulli, and another incredible opportunity. Wow, what a play by Rulli, denying the equalizer, and Burrito Martinez comes in. Unbelievable what has just happened here. Look at the break. Look at the cross. It looked like it was going to drip, but perfectly placed. And Jeronimo Rulli denying Nicolas Blandi of a chance to equalize right there. Burrito then comes in, just absolutely incredible performance by the 20-year-old goalkeeper. And he's also a little bit achy. But when you end up making a play like that, it doesn't hurt so bad in the end. What a beautiful play. Jeronimo Rulli now starting to become one of the protagonists, one of the stars of this match. Coming from the youth system, working his way up, the hometown boy from La Plata. And of course, many already touting him as one of the goalkeepers, if not the goalkeeper of the future. But again, got to give Boca some credit. Look at the way that that play was generated. And it was starting from that left side, courtesy of Emmanuel Insua, Leandro de Sabato. That does not look good at all. That's a really tough break. But look what Insua does. It was about a 50, 60-yard jaunt. Comes in. Ooh. Now from that angle, looks really bad. Insua, tremendous. So was Blandi to be able to stretch out and put the shot. But of course, the one that gets all the plaudits on this particular day, or on this particular play, ends up being Jeronimo Rulli. Truly hope that De Sabato's okay. And the first substitution of the match coming up right now. Nice ovation there, as it's Joaquin Correa, and it'll be Roman Martinez coming on, the veteran, former Espanyol. Pretty much same position. Of course, there's a nice mix of youth and veterans on this Estudiantes side, and you start seeing that these young players are truly responding to the situations that they're being confronted with. And that really makes a huge difference, as we're already in the final 15 minutes plus of this match. Still Boca with the same 11 starters. Estudiantes already making their adjustment. Although with Boca, you really have to give them a great deal of props, because they've been showing some improvement, although there's still a long ways to go. Martinez, Sanchez Miño looking to dart it right through over in the direction of Burrito Martinez. Ledesma, Sanchez Miño putting the brakes on as Marin ends up getting it. Some positives, there are some positives to take out of this match for Boca. Of course, if this result were to remain, I don't think it's one of them, but still start seeing offensively that there's more opportunities that are being generated from an offensive standpoint. Final 15, Israel Damonte in the middle. Ball top right there, looking for Auski. Estudiantes now, it's right there, Carlos Auski. Dropping it back even further for Israel Damonte. Switch was there, but he didn't take it. Here's Matias Aguirre Garay. Aguirre Garay, nice pass for the former U20 international for Uruguay, part of that 2011 side. El Vasquito Ledesma. Cata Díaz. What's been more preoccupying is that Boca's offense really hasn't generated much in the second half. That shot by Blandi was the first one in the second half. Estudiantes haven't done much either, but the difference is that theirs ended up going in the back of the net. Here's Guido Carrillo. Goes right there to Jorge Luna. Wide open on the far side, but not much going on, as everything has been working fine from box to box. Now, when you start getting into that money area inside the 18, well, that's a different story, as Blandi has been able to drop back. And right there, we start seeing Franco Cangele getting ready to come on. Riquelme. The ball goes through, but no foul will be called, as Burrito Martinez might start seeing his exit in just the next few minutes. So the substitution, yeah, was for Burrito Martinez, I believe. That was for Ledesma, excuse me. So Pablo Ledesma gives way to Franco Cangele. So with this result, Estudiantes, I'm saying with this result up to now, Estudiantes would end up fighting for one of the top spots. They would go up to 8 points, tied with Arsenal. See right there, former Boca Youth product. Of course, the two top teams, I don't think anyone would have expected, regardless of it being round 1 or 4. Ball into the area again, cleared out. A shot there. Another chance, and it's right to Orion. As Jonathan Silva from outside, the ball gets collected. Cangele trying to get his first touch on the ball, but it goes over his head. Of course, nobody would have expected Argentinos Juniors and Gimnasia Esgrima to be with 9 points after 4 rounds. Of course, the newly promoted Gimnasia and, of course, the almost relegated last season Argentinos Juniors. And whether you like him or not, he gets the most out of his teams in one Ricardo Caruso Lombardi. Especially after having lost players like Matias Laba, who's in the States, or actually in Canada to be more specific, with Toronto FC. There's a couple of moves that these players, as Rivair Rodriguez gets a yellow card. That's number 5. Actually, check that, number 6 tonight. The big, strapping Uruguayan. Of course, in Gimnasia's case, they only have 3 matches to their name, but as of right now, it's a team that is definitely a threat under Pedro Troglio. To the area, again, very threatening. Damonte swings and tips it. Here's Orion coming out of his box, and again, the ball fluttering ever so dangerously in front of Agustin Orion's goal. Burdizo. Back into the middle, final 9 minutes plus. Rivair Rodriguez, as you see right there. Emanuel Gigliotti. Looks like it's going to be for either Nicolas Blandi or for Burrito Martinez. I think it'll probably be for Burrito, as he's pretty gassed out. No, it's going to be for Juan Román Riquelme. Okay. He was starting to lose protagonism a little bit, but still you need a player like him in the middle. But Gigliotti just have 3 forwards up top instead of having Riquelme drop back. So it'll allow Franco Cangele pretty much to be a 4-2-1-3 with Cangele and Sanchez Miño right there together. Gigliotti up top with Martinez and Blandi. And Ribair Rodriguez, the only holding midfielder, as you see right there. So it could be a situation, a substitution that could reap a lot of benefits. At the same time, it could be one that can cause a great deal of conflict as far as counterattacks are concerned. Here's Franco Cangele, surrounded by 3 players. Where are his teammates? Nobody there. Finally, you see Ribair Rodriguez coming in to help him out and maintain possession. Cangele again with the ball, looking for Rodriguez. He can't, so he drops it back over to Marin. Still moving around. Cangele again down this near side. Cangele looking across it, and right there to save that ball from going to a corner kick, Jeronimo Rulli. Right there, the English on that ball prevented it from going out even further, but let's see what happens there. Urbizo, of course, he's going to get called for the foul. Just cracked Guido Carrillo, or excuse me, Roman Martinez. Saw the 9 upside down. Got his bell rung, didn't he? And of course, it's not only that, but you also have to see what is coming up for these two sides. Estudiantes know that they have to continue this good run of form to compete. If at this point, they believe and they know that they can really cause some damage in the league. So a trip to Rosario, where a completely revamped Newell's Old Boys will be waiting. I'll talk about Newell's Old Boys in just a second after this free kick. Jorge Luna curls this over. He's got a good shot, that's for sure. Damonte goes right off of the face of one of the Boca players. And cross into the middle. Guido Carrillo saved there by Leandro Marin at the last second, sticking his leg out, preventing the youngster from getting the brace. But something happened. Let me see, was there an offside? Yeah, they're calling Roman Martinez offside. As I was mentioning, Newell's Old Boys, as Diego Romero calling the offside. Newell's Old Boys completely revamped. 13 players left the squad during the offseason, the squad that won the league title under Tata Martino. Of course, we know where Tata Martino is now, as his squad, that Barcelona team, doing some good stuff with him, winning 1-0 against Malaga on the road. Now Coach Berti has the squad pretty much, I don't know about, not about playing without missing a beat, but still under the guidelines of that philosophy instilled by Tata Martino, so that's very crucial as well. Then Estudiantes come back home, play Belgrano, Atlético Rafaela, and on September 21st, ladies and gentlemen, it'll be the La Plata Derby. And many talk about the Super Clásico, and many talk about the Rosario Derby. Yeah, this one is as intense as they come. That would be a match that we definitely should have here on Goal TV. As Gonzalez comes up, Mariano Gonzalez for Jorge Luna. A great deal of work being done by Jorge Luna, the native of Tigre, over up in the Delta, on the opposite side of Buenos Aires, on the north side. Boca, in the meantime, as we're getting into the final 3 minutes, and it's really starting to look like Estudiantes have this one under control. Boca, in the meantime, will head back home. It's not going to be an easy task at all, as Boca facing one of their old players in Ricardo Gareca. Boca and Vélez facing off. Then, although on paper it might be considered an opportunity to earn all 3 points, Boca have historically struggled when they make their 7-hour drive to Bahía Blanca to face Olimpo. And then they'll be facing Racing at home. Racing, of course, sacked Luis Zubeldia today. And ironically, Independiente across the street end up sacking Miguel Ángel Brindisi. Not sure if that ever happened in the history of that rivalry, but that's surely one interesting tidbit of information there. As both Racing, Burdizo with the yellow card for dissent. As Racing currently in last place in the first division, and Independiente in last place in the Nacional B. So free kick here as we finally enter the excruciating 90 minutes for Boca, because we're going to that final 90 seconds and only one shot on goal, 3 shots. Damonte diving, yellow card, and it'll be a penalty, I guess. It was kind of weird, but yes, it'll be a penalty kick for Estudiantes. Diego Ceballos, and of course, Estudiantes, it doesn't matter if you go and you... Let's see the replay again. Referee was right there, so from the get-go, you got to give him the benefit of the doubt, but this referee's been a little bit on the struggling side. Let's see what happens here. You get caught with that arm where Cata Diaz had his arm right there. Yeah, you're going to get it called. Whether he committed the foul or not, and you see right there Israel Damonte looking for the foul, and Cata's furious. Whether he was right or not, I'm talking about referee Diego Ceballos and Cata Diaz. He should calm down, because no need for him to get suspended for a match. He got caught with his hands where they shouldn't be. Again, if he's right, if he's wrong, it's kind of irrelevant. And what they're doing at this point, getting right in Diego Ceballos' face, really doesn't do them any good. 4 minutes of added injury time, but at this time it would probably be a formality. Of course, it all depends on what this young man can do. As Guido Carrillo with the penalty kick, and Guido Carrillo makes it 2-0. For him, his 3rd goal of the season, and a brace for the youngster. Estudiantes 2, Boca 0. Very well placed, and got to give him a lot of credit. Got to give Estudiantes overall a lot of credit. A team that worked very hard in the middle, a team that was able to take advantage, and it came down ultimately to that. How many mistakes would Boca make? How many mistakes Estudiantes would make? And how would both sides react to those mistakes? Ends up being the home side, and it'll be Carrillo with the yellow card. So in his 60th match as a professional, Guido Carrillo earns his 9th and 10th goals of his young career. And Estudiantes are well on their way to earning 3 very valuable points as they end up shooting up into the standings, as they are now within striking distance of the leaders in the Argentine Torneo Inicial. You hear the fans. It's Patricio Rodriguez coming on for Estudiantes. And he comes on for another player that had a very impressive game in Carlos Auski. Pato Rodriguez coming on. And listen to the crowd. They know it, they feel it. As Pato Rodriguez, the former Independiente starlet, youth phenom at one point, ended up going to Santos and kind of fizzed away. And now back in Argentina with Estudiantes, looking for goal number 3 is Estudiantes. Definitely looking, and right now Mauricio Pellegrino, everything looking good so far for him. Again, many might say it's a penalty, many might say it's not, but still, where the referee saw, and Guillermo Burdizo will be gone. Second yellow card, and at that point, you started to see Boca start to lose their poise a little bit. Burdizo, fine, you point fingers at the ref. It's not going to change the fact that A, you've got sent off, B, you're losing 2-0, and you got sent off for that. Pato Rodriguez made you look very bad. Boca had their chances. Boca weren't able to take advantage of them, and in the second half, they only had 1 shot on goal. You can't get many goals if you don't generate chances at all. As far as man of the match, you could pretty much point at anyone. Guido Carrillo, you can point at Jerónimo Rulli, you can point over at Jorge Luna, and that's pretty much it. Estudiantes with a 2-0 victory over Boca. For Boca, it's back to the drawing board after suffering a win, a loss, a win, and of course the pattern continues. Estudiantes, in the meantime, start to be a very important protagonist in the early stages of this Torneo Inicial. 2 goals by Guido Carrillo, the difference. Estudiantes winning, Boca losing, and of course you're starting to see the leaders of this tournament start to take off as Estudiantes now tie none other than Arsenal. Arsenal, of course, still ahead on goal differential, and the round will end tomorrow when Quilmes and San Lorenzo face off. San Lorenzo with a chance to go top of the table. Quilmes, in the meantime, looking to get out of the bottom half of the particular table themselves, because they want to prevent any complications with relegation. But here in La Plata, Estudiantes with a convincing 2-0 win. I'm Juan Arana.